Kempire is brought to you by. Do you know how important it is to rate and review a podcast? Rate and review the Kempire podcast today. 5 stars. Let us know what you love about the podcast. Rate and review the Kempire podcast on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Did you know that you can watch the Kempire channel on YouTube, Facebook, and on Twitter? Follow us on all of our platforms. More information on our YouTube, our Blue Sky, our Twitter, aka X, and more socials, and every way that you can support us will be available in the episode notes. You're listening to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Network. And welcome back. Let me know if you can hear me, see me, all that good stuff. Shout out to those of you watching on Twitch and Twitter. Again, more information on Rose Forever will be in the description, but don't forget to use your $20 off discount code Kempire20MD. That is M for mother, D for day, Mother's Day, Kempire20MD. And for those that are watching here on TikTok or Twitch or Twitter, head on over to our YouTube channel. I will be posting it on those other platforms, but don't forget to use our discount code for your $20 off. Mother's Day literally is right around the corner. So don't let it sneak up on you like tax day just did. Today's tax day, right? Have you paid your taxes? Have you filed your taxes? Well, today's the deadline, or at least you better go file that extension. Okay. Kay says, we see you on YouTube, Kemp. Hey, thank you so much. Shout out to our fellow producers in the chat. We appreciate you guys as well. Special K says, this is my daughter's birthday, so I'm thinking of getting her some roses. Happy early birthday for your daughter. Or is today your daughter's birthday? Still, I mean, shipping for Rose Forever is pretty fast. Again, more information on Rose Forever will be available in the description, along with everything else Kempire, including our merchandise. If you want a Kempire shirt, or if you want to know more about my skin and my skincare, all of that will be available in the description. Okay. Akila says, I did my taxes 2 days ago. Go you. Lucy says, we filed last night. Oh, good. I know the feeling of filing your taxes once it's done is just, it doesn't matter if you're getting money back, if you owe money. It just feels good to be like, you know what, I did what I'm supposed to do, and now I can be done with it until this time again next year or whatever. Okay. But a reminder to those of you that maybe needed the reminder and you didn't realize it. Yeah, because this month already is flying by. We're halfway through the month of April. So today's live. I have a couple of updates before we get to the Real Housewives of Atlanta of it all. First, I thought I was just going to be talking about Brit, Eady, but then we got to talk about Cynthia Bailey's interview with Carlos. We have to talk about Nene leaks. We have a little bit of an update there. We got to talk about Netta. Yeah, Netta and Charles. We got to talk about them. But before we get into any of that, if you are a fan of the channel, you've been following us for a very long time, then you know we've been recapping And Just Like That since it began. You guys know how much I love Sex and the City and how much I really did enjoy and do enjoy And Just Like That. Well, they announced And Just Like That, the Max original series, will be returning on May 29th. Yes. I love it. So our ladies are back. Summer in the City. Our ladies are officially back. And I don't know if you saw the trailer. I will be honest with you because I'm never going to lie to you. Okay. It doesn't benefit me to lie to you. Okay. And Just Like That's trailer, it didn't hit the spot like it would probably normally hit for me. But And Just Like That is one of those shows you have to watch it from beginning to end to really, truly appreciate what's happening in the story. The trailer was just for me. It wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm excited to see what is playing out. So, And Just Like That, the trailer came out. If you missed it, you can see it on socials right now. It's like a 2.5 minute trailer talking about what we can expect for the season. We're still dealing with Carrie and Aiden. Okay. But we shall see. The trailer, again, I'm keeping an open mind just because how invested I've been in this series since Sex and the City. And I haven't decided if I'm going to recap it here or if I'm just going to do it for our Club Kempire folks. For those that are members of our Club Kempire, I did drop an episode yesterday where I talk about Bethany versus Teresa and the update there. I talk about Johnny Bananas and the update there. I even spill a little bit more in regards to Real Housewives of Atlanta. I talked about Mid-Century Modern on Hulu. I talked about $1 Million Secret on Netflix. I talked about The Resident. Yeah, I talked about a whole lot yesterday on our Club Kempire podcast episode. That is a paid subscription here on Apple Podcasts. So be sure to check that out if you haven't already. There is a free 3-day trial. All right. And I'm thinking that's where I will probably continue to talk about scripted television will be on the TheKempire, along with spilling tea about other stuff. And tonight is The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, where we see, I'm sure by now you guys have seen the preview for the ending. And I think this is production being very dramatic because everyone is talking about Garcelle leaving the show. Garcelle posted on her Garcelle has been posting living her best life. Even though she has been doing that, she's been posting living her best life, just showing you all the things that she's got going on in her life. So, and look, and I'll say this. They show you in the preview for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, final part of their reunion, they have the toast. So Garcelle stays up until the very end. She does the toast. She doesn't even toast with them. She puts it down, her drink, and she's like, yeah, I'm done. And all you see is Dorito says, Garcelle, that's very unprofessional. So it will be interesting to see what plays out. I've already given you some of the tea of what I've heard in regards to what plays out during the reunion. Again, what I've heard was before they edited the reunion. So some of what we've said may be included, may not be included. But we shall see. You also probably seen the preview for Real Housewives of Beverly Hills' final part of the reunion, where Bose brings up what Sutton not reportedly said in the after show. And Bose says to Garcelle, yeah, and you didn't clock it. So we shall see. We shall see what this final part of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills reunion will look like. Don't forget, we will be recapping it tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. PST. So stay tuned for that. Make sure your notifications stay on for that. Okay. The other thing that I wanted to get into, I guess I can start with, let's talk about Miss Netta. So for those that don't know who Miss Netta is, I only know because of the blog. I really do not follow Miss Netta or anything going on with her and Charles. I don't know what it is. I don't know how they even became popular. Okay. So, as you know, when we recap Real Housewives of Atlanta yesterday, this was brought up on Real Housewives of Atlanta, where Portia says, that's what the girl who she said. I know one of the other housewives, that's what they were referring to Angela, because the way she says Charles. And so they started calling Angela Netta. So from Netta and Charles, okay? So we all said yesterday, oh, Lord, here goes the countdown until Miss Netta talks about it. And always Miss Netta has to put a little extra on it. Watch this clip.
Huh? I was mentioned on how probably was, because Drewson. Huh? I was mentioned on Housewives last night. Probably was, because Drew Sidora, me and Drew Sidora, we reach out. I didn't even look at that. But I might go check it out. Me and Drew Sidora, we've been, conversating and talking on the phone and stuff like that. And I was going to go and appear on Housewives last year.
This is what goes on with Miss Netta. Now, all of a sudden, she was supposed to appear. I guess she probably had conversations with Bravo, too, about being a potential housewife of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay, Miss Netta. The delusion is real.
Check it out. Me and Drew Sidora, we've been, conversating and talking on the phone and stuff like that. And I was going to go and appear on Housewives last year when they was filming. But I didn't do it. We didn't have a storyline for me to come on there, but I probably was mentioned on it. I'm going to go and check that on Housewives last year when they was filming, but I didn't do it. We didn't have a storyline for me to come on there, but...
We didn't have a storyline for me to come on there? Okay, Miss Netta.
Last year when they was filming, but... I didn't do it. We didn't have a storyline for me to come on there, but I probably was mentioned on it. I'm going to go and check that.
You go do that, Miss Netta. You go do that. Let me just tell you guys something. We all need to have that level of delusion, because that level of delusion will take you all the way to the White House. I'm sorry. I hate to say it. Yes, hard work, as you know, I'm a hard worker. Okay, it's in my blood, Jamaican. All right. But what I've learned is, and what I've seen working in corporate America, where my corporate America baddies at, you've seen it. You've seen so many people that are underqualified, lazy, do half of what you do. Okay. half of what you do, and they will get further than you for a variety of different reasons we can get into at another time. Okay? But please understand. See, Patrick Mama says, yes, Kempire. So that level of delusion will take you wherever you want to go. That's how you manifest. Be that level of Netta delusion. It's going to take her all the way to the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I still feel like people should. Okay, we can get to a whole other conversation. I'm not going to. Just that level of delusion will take you far. Okay? That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. Okay? That's it. That's all. Sierra, thank you so much for the super chat. Sierra says, I love this time block for lives. Why last call just wrapped and made the live? Yes, Sierra. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for the super chat. Guys, you can also support just by liking today's video. We have a roundup of Real Housewives of Atlanta news that we have to get into. And be sure to follow us on TikTok because I'm also posting short form content. Like I posted a couple of videos, 3 videos last night, talking about some of my favorite moments from this week's episode of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And they mostly came from the newbies. Okay. All right. Where do I want to go next? So Miss Netta will be on Real Housewives of Atlanta next season, maybe. She knows Drew. All right. Okay. So the last time we had the Real Housewives emergency meeting with Brooke Ashley and Taria Faison from the What Else Is Going On podcast, we talked about Nene Leakes' show. And we were talking about how all these reality TV stars are now coming to YouTube trying to, get to the bag. And we were like, get to the bag? YouTube? No, on YouTube, you got to work, okay, in order to get to the bag. And even then, my gosh. So we were talking about the Nene Leakes show and how Nene's apparently, a word on the street, there was a falling out between Nene and the other young lady that she had that, Me and My Homegirl podcast. I already predicted that was going to happen. Wasn't that very good at all. So they allegedly had some sort of falling out, which turned into the Nene Leakes show, where she had Carlos on, okay? How many weeks later, we were like, okay, so where's the next episode? All right? Where's the next episode? Okay. So now we have the answer for you guys. So let me show you. Nene Leakes will be back. Hold on. Here it is. With Latocha Scott from Escape. Latocha Scott from Escape. So Nene posted this on her social media saying, who's got next? You know her from... Damn, she didn't even spell Escape right. She spelled it right, but not like the group. She spelled it correctly, but not the group. So she spelled Escape with an E. You know her from Escape. She's R&B singer. I am Latocha, and she's got a story to tell. Okay, so everyone was mentioning like, Candy's not going to like this. Candy is too booked and busy to worry about what Latocha's got going on over here, okay? I do find it to be interesting that Nene Leakes' second episode, which was how many weeks later, will be featuring Latocha Scott. As you know, the last time we reported on Latocha Scott, we were talking about her doing that residuals challenge, and she talked about her sister. And then we ended up finding out misinformation in regards to that. Basically, that she really did not break up with her husband, that she did not reach out to her sister. I've heard since then they have spoken. I don't know where they are today when it comes to their relationship, but as you know, we followed and documented the ups and downs of that reality show, the things that played out in regards to their relationship, the alleged $30,000. Okay, she's still saying that she didn't take any money from her sister. Okay. So I am going to be tuned in though for this interview because one thing about Tasha. She gonna lie about something, and it will be interesting to see Nene actually interview someone versus them interview her. And that is my biggest issue with Nene when people say, Nene should have a talk show. Not until she get her skill up, because the skill set is not there yet. I think she's very great reality television, but becoming a daytime talk show host, she needs to get that skill up. Because the first episode, it was like everyone that she had as a guest were interviewing her versus them being on her show and her interviewing them. But okay. So it will be interesting to see this conversation. So she will also have an all things tea segment with the Neighborhood Talks editing manager and spilling all the industry hot tea. I do like the fact that she's figuring out the segment and the bones of what the show is going to look like. So she'll have her interview, and then she'll have her tea spill segment. I just need Nene, if you're going to produce a show, at the very least, you have to put it out at least once a week, not once every other week, not even once every other week, once every other month. You have to be consistent if you want people to take you seriously, Nene. And the reason why Nene is here on these YouTube streets is because these major outlets do not want to give her a show. So you have to prove yourself, Nene, here on YouTube in order for them to take you seriously in these production meetings. Not saying that you can't do it, Nene. And I'm not saying that you can't become a good interviewer, and it takes practice. This is coming from someone that's interviewed hundreds of people, that's been doing this. I know some of y'all are new to me, but I'm not new to this. Okay, go check my interview with Oprah, which was 12 years ago, more than 12 years ago at this point. Okay, and even before Oprah, I was interviewing celebrities back before that. So I'm not new to this. All right, I just decided to be my own boss as opposed to y'all trying to tell me what to do. Okay, and who to interview. All right. So Nene, if you want this, if you're truly passionate about this, you need to put out at least one episode a week, at least. And one thing I will give to Portia has been consistent. I know it's only been a week, but we already got 3 episodes from Portia. We already, and she's just doing it in her home. She's not trying to, but she has good editing. I will give that to Portia. She's definitely giving us quality in her episodes that she's released. I'm sitting here watching Portia eat mukbang, do a mukbang video. And I'm like, oh my gosh. But Portia is likable in a lot of ways. So far, I'm not minding Portia doing her YouTube thing. If she starts trying to be Oprah or Nopra, then it might be a problem. Well, maybe we haven't seen her do it yet. It might be interesting, but I'm liking Portia's videos so far. Okay, all right. Okay. Esquihur says, "Why did I jump in onto? I'm not new to this. I'm true to this. I didn't say that. I'm just telling you guys, I'm not new to this." Okay. So Nene has announced that her next guest on the second episode, weeks later, on the second episode of the Nene Leakes show will be Latocha Scott. And everyone's wondering, I wonder how Kandi feels about this. Kandi doesn't care. That's the one thing I have to give Kandi. No matter how many people want to drag her for whatever reason, Kandi, well, even if she's had issues with you, and she's had issues with a lot of people, including Tamar, she's like, let them go be great. Because she's too busy trying to be great over here with a sold-out, record-breaking Broadway show. I promise you, Kandi don't care. Kandi will only care, though, if there's shade thrown at her in this interview. And we know that's inevitable. I'm gonna be seated. And then maybe we will go live and we will recap it. I always have a good time with the Scott sisters, though. Come on now. Where is it? Please hold. Hold on. I am the 5th member. How about that? And remember, that was a part of that. Okay.
Poor baby.
That was that season of RHOA. It's me. Hi. Not a problem. It's me. That all stemmed from Latocha on the Queens of R&B reality show. That all stemmed from her, even though that is a Taylor Swift song. But I added that because I was like, Tasha, you don't see that you are the problem? And mind you, speaking of been doing this, I interviewed Latocha when she was still not good with Kandi years ago. Go check that interview on the Kempire Radio YouTube channel. And I actually found her to be lovely. Lovely. But I didn't know about the alleged theft. Okay. Passion Mommy says, please recap it because I really do not want to watch it. Damn. Why y'all got me suffering watching these things? It's okay, though. So you're welcome, Nene. The Nene Leakes show, a new episode will be coming soon. I don't even know I'm sure she probably announced the date. I didn't see that in the caption, though. Look, she's still learning. All right. So Nene Leakes, the Nene Leakes show is still alive and thriving. And just like that is coming back May 29th. We will be recapping it. Just haven't decided where. All right. Brycey says, why did I repeat I am the 5th member? I am the 5th member. How about that? Because you've been a part of the community. It's a part of our history. Okay? All right, let's move on from there. All right. Okay, before we get to since we're talking about Nene, Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Kung Minkoff have a new podcast together. We talked about it. I told you I like their podcast. There's not a lot of podcasts that I can listen to. You know, I'm very sensitive to voices. For me, anyone else, I don't know. Me, I'm very sensitive to voices. So there aren't a lot of podcasts that I can listen to. All right. So I do like Cynthia and Crystal Kung Minkoff's podcast. I really do. I don't get to listen to it all the time. I see that they're doing a lot of interviews right now, and I'm like, okay. But I get it. People do interviews a lot of times to help build their platforms. Okay? It's a good marketing ploy, but it's not going to keep your listeners. Just saying, I'm giving advice. I'm giving free advice, y'all. Okay? All right? Unlike Brit, Eady. You don't got to pay for this workshop, okay? Just pay attention every time I go live. I'm always dropping little gems for you, all right? So a lot of people will help build their platform and their audience from doing tons of interviews. Not a bad ploy. It's actually a great thing, especially if you don't have experience in interviewing people. This is how practice makes perfect, okay? So that's what they've been doing. They've been trying to build their podcast. I honestly just prefer them. But a lot of people are trying to get to the bag as opposed to really build a core community that will support them even when they don't have guests on their show, right? Like what we have, almost 2,000 people here, and I ain't got no guests. Look, come on. Wait.
I am the fifth member.
Okay. All right. So, Cynthia and Crystal were on Carlos King's podcast, and they were talking about a bunch of different things. But this part stood out to me because everyone has been slamming Cynthia for her lack of support when it comes to Kenya Moore's situation. We've spoken about this, and I've told you, y'all need to leave Cynthia alone. Because all these other friends that are hyping Kenya up for what she did and making excuses because of what Brit Eady did are not really her friends. And those are the same friends that are going to take Kenya down. Sidebar, Kenya. Today's the day. You're back on YouTube. Confessionals. Remember that announcement? Kenya, free advice, girl. First of all, by today, we should have seen your entire YouTube page be updated. New default picture, new banner. We should have had a trailer, unless you were going live. And it didn't say that you were going live. We should have had a trail of what to expect yesterday or maybe Sunday night when it dropped. And honestly, you probably should have went live yesterday as opposed to today. But I was grateful because I'm busy on Mondays. I'm busy on Mondays. But we don't have a trailer. I haven't seen any announcement on whether or not it's happening today at all. Okay. All right, fine. So for those that wanted the update, I have no update for you when it comes to Kenya's thing. I thought we would be talking about Kenya's confessionals today. But I haven't seen an announcement. Maybe we'll get an announcement. Please keep an eye out for me, y'all. And then when I have call-ins, you guys can let me know or let me know in the live chat. She released the video. And then maybe we'll go live tomorrow and talk about it. We'll see. All right. See, Big Miss Muffin says, why was I waiting on you to recap? I ain't tuning in. I'm just saying. And I know some of you just watch me. I appreciate that. Okay, come on now. I appreciate that. But here's the update. No Kenya Moore video yet. It's 4:30 p.m. Eastern here in New York. And okay. Latocha says she doesn't have a team, ? A lot of these folks that you think have teams really don't. She might have an agent. She might have a personal assistant. I believe she does. But they don't necessarily have a team because the team costs. And now Mama's situation with Bravo is gone. Okay? All right. I wanted to give you that update. But let's talk about Cynthia because Cynthia has been getting a lot of backlash. Cynthia Bailey, who's currently as an enhanced friend of this season, is getting backlash because of, they're saying, the lack of support that Cynthia has shown. As you know, Kenya Moore retweeted that clip of Nene Leakes on Watch What Happens Live where she was talking about Cynthia Bailey not being a great friend. And Kenya Moore retweeted that a few days ago. Kenya, Okay, we'll talk about it. Let me just play a clip. As always, we are going to be stopping and playing this clip. This clip, you can see the full interview on Carlos's podcast, all right? Because you know what we do here. We cite our sources, all right? So let me just play for you this clip of what Cynthia had to say on the rift between her and Kenya Moore.
A moment Nene Leakes talked about you going where the wind blows when it comes to friendships. And, you know, again, I'm paraphrasing, but pretty much not being everyone's friend. I'm sorry, being everybody's friend, not standing for your true friend. When you saw Kenya retweet that, did that hurt your feelings?
Of course. I mean, like I said, I haven't spoken to her since the whole incident happened, but not because I haven't, reached out to her. I reached out to her during that time, but at this point in the friendship, we've had our ups and downs. I respect people's space and their time. I'm not getting ready to run Kenya down to try to make any kind of amends with her because I didn't do anything to Kenya. I just came to the salon opening to support her, and I was disappointed in how she handled the situation because, again, I literally was just I had maybe been in a group situation with Brit twice. I didn't know Brit, so I wasn't emotionally invested. I could care less how I wasn't concerned with protecting Brit because I didn't know her. And again, as a friend of the show, the filming that they did, I wasn't even around them that much at that point. But I knew Kenya, and that's why I said to her, I know you. I wasn't there. I'm not saying that what she did, and I've said 155 times, what Brit did was wrong. She should have never brought up a gun. You know what I'm saying? And what I also think is interesting is that I am the only one that said anything to her in that moment, but all the ladies walked out. And she doesn't seem to have an issue with them now. I think she still speaks to whoever she feels like speaking to with the rest of the cast. That
is a valid point. And when she said that, I was like, well, yeah, you got a point. Why are you so mad and upset at Cynthia and not the rest of the cast? And maybe she is, but you don't see her doing that. I feel like some of the teen twirl social media behavior that we're seeing, she's sort of inciting it in a lot of ways. And I'm just like, Kenya, if you want your job back, this is not the way to do it. And this is where people are speculating, well, she doesn't want her job back. Word on the street, she does. Okay? I know the social media behavior says otherwise. Word on the street, she does. And I do find it interesting. Cynthia is probably an easier target for Kenya, but I didn't see anything wrong with what Cynthia said at this hair event. It's what we've been saying when covering this story. Brit Eady was wrong, but Kenya, you weren't right. And it doesn't feel like you're taking true accountability when it comes to what you did.
Really didn't support it. Clearly thought it was, beneath her or whatever their own terminology is. But I don't know. I feel like I still have seen her with some of those ladies. I sat right there and watched those same ladies in their interviews and say how they felt about the situation. So I don't know if she's, upset with them now. I don't know why all of a sudden, because she made the decision that she made, that it's a thing between Kenya and I.
Pause. I see some of you saying, well, it hits different when it's your best friend. First of all, these two are not best friends, because she also talks about in this interview how after Ultimate Girls Trip, they didn't talk for 2 years. Yes, they're probably a lot closer than the other women. But again, I don't see anything that Cynthia said in that moment as wrong. That's what we've all been saying after recapping and talking about that episode. I don't see anything wrong with what she said to Kenya and holding Kenya accountable. That's the type of friend that I would be, and that's the type of friend I would want around me. Because I've seen some of the people that are Kenya's friends, like Claudia Jordan, what's her name, that was also on the show at one particular, in the comment section, talking all this stuff. But that's not your friends. Kenya, you were wrong. There's no way to switch this up about it. You were wrong for having this play, first of all, doing what you did, but also at your event. We've talked about this endlessly in regards to you could have ruined other bags for yourself. If not, you probably did other bags for yourself by doing this at your event.
So what happened on Girls Trip, however long it took us to get back, if Kenya and I were the best of friends, let me be very clear when I say this, I would have still had the same reaction. If Kenya and I had never fallen out in our lives, I would have still had the same reaction at the salon. I was disappointed in my friend. I did not want, you know how long I've been hearing about Kenya Moore hair care? You know how much blood, sweat, and tears that woman has put into trying to put that vision together for herself and for Brooklyn? And to see it be overshadowed by something that she could have got Brit way down the line. Kenya's been doing this for a long time. She could have got Brit. We were headed to Jacksonville, Grenada. She could have got Brit another day, you know?
Pause. Yes, she could have gotten Brit at any other moment. And again, I still wouldn't say, even if a lot of people are saying, well, maybe if she had done it and it was just a group event and it was just them. No, she should not be showing intimate photos of someone like that, even to the group. If she had mentioned it, I could probably get away with something like that, but not the showing of it blown up on a poster board, no matter which way you want to spin that.
So it just is upsetting that people are so focused on stuff that doesn't even make sense at this point. And then even bringing Nene into it. I'm in a great place with Nene. I just talked to Nene a couple of weeks ago. She asked me to do her YouTube show.
Episode 3's coming, y'all. I don't know when that's going. She said Nene asked her to do the episode. Episode 3's coming in May. Episode 3's come on. Yeah. Yeah. Episode 3's coming. Don't hold your breath though, because they didn't finalize it. That would be an interesting episode to watch. Nene's booking some good guests, y'all. I'm invested. So Cynthia's going to be a guest. I'm sure they're going to talk about their friendship contract, being on the show together. Nene's in a better place with the network. So this is why people that are currently with the network are more than willing to go on her show or collaborate with her. Because y'all notice they had hands off when she was in the middle of a fight with them. Just saying. All right, so apparently episode 3's coming, y'all.
Is upsetting that people are so focused on stuff that doesn't even make sense at this point. And then even bringing Nene into it. I'm in a great place with Nene. I just talked to Nene a couple of weeks ago. She asked me to do her YouTube show. I don't have no problem.
Wait, do you think Nene's going to be upset? Girl, you're not supposed to be telling my the public what guests I'm having on my show. Maybe she wants it to be a surprise. Me personally, I wouldn't be mad at Cynthia, but I'll be a little annoyed. Girl, I like to drop it on, especially if I'm interviewing someone, and sometimes these things don't happen. I don't think that's going to happen with them, but you never know. I'd be a little upset and annoyed. Girl, don't tell them. It's supposed to be a surprise. And plus, I never know when I want to actually put out an episode. This may not come out till September.
With Nene, and I don't have a problem with Kenya. But if Crystal does something that I think is beneath her, that is deplorable, and I can't hold her accountable and tell her that that's how I feel, then I don't want to be friends with Crystal or anybody else.
I can't argue with what Cynthia's saying. I know Team Twirl's mad at Cynthia, but I can't. And that's not the type of friend that I've ever been. And I've talked about that countless times here on the channel. I'm not going to... When I know my friend is wrong, I might not do it publicly, but I will definitely do it. However, they're filming a reality show, so Cynthia wanted to make it known in that moment, this is beneath you. And honestly, I think I probably would have said the same thing to her if I was friends with Kenya at her event and I saw that. I mean, there's just so many things, so many thoughts that came across my mind in covering this whole situation with Kenya and what she did at her own hair spa, from the investors, from bombarding people that did not come there for that. They did not come there. Yes, they know they came for filming of a reality show, but they did not come to be bombarded with images of someone with a thing in their mouth. They didn't come there for that. And again, you had probably potential business partners there, for all you know. And now they're probably she's too volatile. I don't want to work with her anymore. You don't know. And you don't know who people know. But all right. But speaking this event, so at the event, we showed you yesterday this photo. Remember yesterday we talked about this, where there was a poster board when this all played out. They didn't show this on the show, though. There was a poster board that said insurance fraud, okay? And then all kind of writing on it. On Watch What Happens Live, Brit Eady did reveal that she did not lose her insurance license. As you know, on the episode, Angela Oakley, who works in that field, and she knows a thing or two, and I think anyone that kind of has some sense, they were like, okay, this just played out 48 hours ago or a few days before. How are you being investigated? And mind you, Brit told Shamia that she had lost her license, unless there was a loss in translation when that happened. Okay, so Shamia was under the impression that Brit lost her insurance license. So a lot of people have been talking about that. Maybe people did not see Watch What Happens Live in regards to where Brit says she didn't lose it. But also in that scene, she says she was under investigation. Well, you remember our girl Janelle, whose father works in that field, called in yesterday. For those that didn't see it, I'm going to play it for you again. Called in and says, I find that to be fishy. Let me play that for you.
You are now awake. You're welcome. So I want to speak very quickly. Okay, so my dad's an insurance agent, and for State Farm in particular. But in the state of Florida, so I want to preface that before I say anything. In the state of Florida, each state has its own laws when it comes to insurance licenses and stuff like that. So I don't think Brit lost her license. If she's an independent insurance broker, that means she's working with smaller companies and trying to set up like different insurance policies. They may not want to work with her. But it's a lot to lose your license. Like, you literally have to be stealing money from customers, committing fraud, embezzlement, have a conviction like a DUI or whatever. Like, you have to do a lot in order to lose your license, especially in states like Florida and possibly like Georgia. Yeah. And also, I just don't think, based off what my dad has told me about the insurance industry, you have to do a lot to lose that license.
Yeah.
And I used to work in his office, and like, they do credit checks, they do background checks, they do a lot of things to make sure that you are a good person in good standing before they even decide to work with you. And also, like, the things on social media, like, they're very particular about what you post on social media on top of that. Yeah. Like, my dad can't post much things on social media simply because State Farm will have an issue with it. And if this happened 48 hours, how would they have found out? That's my question. Yeah. So, like, because if Brit was with like a larger company like a State Farm, Nationwide, Allstate, she would not be on the show. They wouldn't allow it. Because they're not going to have a connection to a reality show. I don't think people realize, like, a lot of these companies, some of them, not all of them, come from red states. They have very conservative values. They're not going to just attach their name to just anybody. Like, they're picky with people who they choose as their
customers.
As their customers. Oh my, don't get me started on that. They're very picky about people who, like, they have for endorsements. Like, they have to go through background checks. Like, yes, everyone loves Patrick Mahomes, but he didn't just get that State Farm deal like just like nothing. Like, they did a full-blown background check on him before they decide, okay, you're going to be one of our spokespeople. So I think Brit is lying, but that's just me. That's my personal opinion.
No, I'm glad you called. That's why I turned the timer off, because I wanted you to get the perspective, because I don't have that experience, but you bring up a lot of valid points, Janelle. Was there anything else before we let you go?
I don't think, is there anything else I can fill you in on insurance-wise? Or I think that may be it, because I don't want to be redundant.
Thank you, Janelle. We appreciate
it. No, I think that's it. You really have to do a lot. I just know that for Florida, and Florida has some strict insurance laws. So I'm assuming Georgia's the same, even though they don't have to deal with like as many like natural disasters as Florida does. So there's different realms to it. But
and she did say at the Peace Brunch that they were investigating her. And then on Watch What Happens Live, she said that she didn't lose it.
Well, you know what? If they are investigating her, then she did something else. If they're truly, because
48 hours later, we have Angela saying that they're investigating you over a rumor.
Right. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying is because I personally did not see any social media footage from the whole presentation when it first happened. So, which made me believe, like, Bravo, before people left the venue, made sure that, you cannot post this. Delete this from your phone, whatever, don't post anything of this nature. So if she is being investigated by them, either she's lying or she did something else.
I don't believe she's being investigated at all.
No. But if she was, I mean, she did something else that they saw. They're like, oh, and because that means someone went and complained about her by assuming that she's an independent insurance broker. A customer was like, oh, this is not good. And they went and reported it to the entity that handles insurance, like government-wise.
Team Twirl?
Huh?
Team Twirl?
You know what? Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised.
I wouldn't be surprised either, but I don't believe her. I don't believe her in regards to her being investigation.
I think she is taking advantage of the fact that people are ignorant about what happens insurance-wise. Most people just pay for it and keep it moving. For me, as someone who, like, my dad's an insurance agent and he's been one for longer than I've been alive,
Whoa.
and I've worked in his office. So I know what you have to do. You really have to be like a really horrible criminal to lose your license to sell insurance.
Wow.
And then also, I'm curious what type of insurance she sells, because if you sell more than just car and home, then you doing something. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna go so other people can chat.
Thanks, Janelle. So that was yesterday with Janelle. Janelle called in and talked about this. So our friend over at Giorgio Says also did a little digging on what Brit Eady is doing now. So Brit Eady isn't involved in insurance because remember on the show, she has talked about she sold her insurance business. Remember, she talked about that on the show, but she didn't really talk about what she was currently doing. Okay. So let's get into what Giorgio says on this in his research.
Well, not sure what happened here, but there was another poster board that really stood out to me that was not shown. Do you guys remember when this all went down and people that were at this event were leaking photos from the situation? And there was a photo here of a poster board that said insurance fraud ho. And then there's some text and some article. You obviously can't read it, but last night's episode, we see Angela kind of call out Brit, not for lying so much, but asking her, well, why would they just take your license away without cause? What was the cause? And then obviously we saw her snap. But essentially, we know that she doesn't have her insurance agency anymore. And in fact, she was with Allstate under, their umbrella for 3 years before she ended up selling that agency. And now she has a whole agency, as she calls it, called Jumpstart or Agency Jumpstart. It's basically a masterclass on how you can be a successful insurance agent, owner, whatever, by following her blueprint. And you guys know I'm very nosy. You guys know this. So I went through and I dug through the entire website. I went through disclaimers, refund policy, went through all the bits. I did everything except buy this masterclass. And here are all the major red flags, and I'm going to say this up front. Don't ever buy anyone's course, okay? Don't. Most of the time, the things that are in those courses you can find online. You just got to do a little bit more digging, but if you really want to learn, the information is out there. Now let's get into this website and all the red flags. So first thing that stood out to me, this entire website, everything about this masterclass is so super vague. No clear outline of any of the deliveries, of the formats or modules or any of that stuff. So essentially, the user has no way of assessing the value of this product before opening their wallets. Red flag number 2, no verified reviews or testimonials, not even any fake ones from any of her friends.
Not fake ones.
No students have bought your course yet. I think this website opened in 2023 or something, or at least that's when the disclaimer was written, and there's no social proof, nobody, not even a Facebook group, nothing. There is a very much heavy reliance on her personal success, although she doesn't really map out what those actually are. So
pause. She was in the insurance business for like 3 years, and now she has a master's class. 3 years? Janelle, I know you're in the chat. Is your father doing a master's class? Because I would take his. Because I would take his. And this is where I would say, look, not all of these workshop courses are scams. A large majority. However, not all of them are. A lot of them, if you do your due diligence and you do some research, very much like what Giorgio has done on this website, there are some people that have years of experience that are worth picking their brain. Okay? And you should pay for it. So there's certain things you just can't buy online. But like Janelle has mentioned before, like a lot of these places, they will sponsor you, okay, if you want to learn the insurance business. All right.
Here's what I'm going to say. If you actually want to be an insurance agent or own your own agency, if you just contact State Farm, Allstate, Nationwide, any of them, they have programs where they will essentially teach you everything you need to know and then help you open your agency for free. It's very limited contact information on there, so it's very vague. There's no phone number, there's no physical address, and it comes off more like a sales funnel website rather than an actual, educational platform. because they use these buzzwords like once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and get my secret sauce. There's not even any real educational credentials as she's listed, and I know she went to college, so at the very least you could put that in there, or at least talk about your experiences when you had your own agency as an insurance agent. But this is the best part. Strictly no refunds, guys. That's right. You're not going to be able to see anything about how the course works.
No refunds? I mean, that's typical for these courses, so I will say that.
Till you buy it. But if you get in there and realize this is all stuff I could have Googled, well, too bad, so sad. And if you buy into any of her subscription models and you try it out for 2 days and you're like, this has no value, well, you're still going to be stuck paying the entire month. There's no prorated refunds either. And in the disclaimer, these are also red flags. They are saying we have zero accountability for anything you see in there, or if the links that we have to other places to give you the information and they do something shady, we are not responsible, so don't come over here. And I have not seen any type of press or any type of media surrounding this company, whatever it is. So again, I wonder, is this going to be a theme throughout the season? Is this where the ladies start to pick up on maybe there's something off about this girl?
Shout out to Giorgio says, as always, we cite our sources. Be sure to check him out on TikTok and on Instagram. You can see more of his content there. I did want to bring up some of the things from her website. Okay, let me just bring this up. So this is what you'll learn from her course. Whose building is this that she's featured right here? Whose building is this? Just asking for a friend. So she claims what you will learn from her course: how to break into the industry, Googleable, help to determine which side of the industry is right for you, why being an insurance agent is so lucrative, steps to get licensed with key tips. How about steps on how not to get your license suspended? Because you're claiming that a rumor on the show, you're claiming that a rumor is what has potentially gotten you in trouble. Let me go back here. Okay. She also says on her website, this is directly from her website, steps to get licensed with key steps. Key tips. There we go. How to create multiple revenue streams as an agent, how to win by setting yourself apart from other agents, how to successfully run your agency, how to create your own niche, how to fund your business, how to properly market and advertise, how to effectively hire, how to scale and grow your agency, how to stay on top of your goals, how to maximize earning potential, Brit Eady's key strategies and resources to success, how to get started in the industry with zero previous experience, what's included in the course according to her website, online course including lessons plus materials, access to my funding team, opportunity to open your own agency with my affiliate program, app access to the community on the go, inserts of Brit Eady's original business plan, Brit Eady's insurance playbook ebook. Okay. But again, like Giorgio says, there are no examples from other people that have been a part of this company. How long has this company been around? All right. According to the website, 2023. Not sure. All right. So Brit Eady has a response to all of the people that are reacting to the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Atlanta in regards to what was said when it comes to her insurance license being investigated or suspended. All right. So, wait, before we move on to that, I did want to play the video on her website because I wanted to hear what she had to say. Please hold on. Let me know if you guys can hear this. Hold on. All right.
Hi, I'm Brit Eady, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm an insurance agent. I opened up an all-state insurance agency, and I killed it. I started from a background in modeling, entertainment. So I went from being the talent to now being the entrepreneur. And being able to do that is making sure your mind is in the right place, making sure you can...
Pause. So there's some video footage on her website. You can go to her website from her Instagram page. It's jumpstartyouраgency.com. So she's showing you all these B-roll. It looks like she was at a car dealership in one of them. So I'm sort of like, okay, I'm trying to understand what we're doing here. Fine. Go ahead.
And so that's what I'm going to teach you, how to put everything in line to be able to map out your blueprint to success. I'm showing you how to separate yourself from everybody else. While everybody's all going left, we going right. We're not doing what everybody else is doing. This course is for the entrepreneurs, the doers, the 9-to-5ers that are sick and tired of doing the same thing over and it's not working. I'm here to help you get to the finish line. Make this about you. Don't give up on you. Be ready to be a better version of yourself. It's gonna be hard. Nobody said this was gonna be easy, but it's all about your mind. You're a product of your thoughts. I wanted the house. I wanted the cars. I wanted the lifestyle. I wanted the trips. I wanted the vacation. And I wanted the husband. This is for you. I got you. I'm right here.
Wait, is she claiming that this program will also get you the husband? Wait a second. Will this program get you a husband? Let me sign up. Let me sign up.
And I'm going to hold your hand through this whole process. And I'm here to show you. And I'm here to give you the game. Hi, I'm Brit.
And it says coming soon. So has she not launched this business yet? Wait, no, you can. It says purchase now, but it says the video says coming soon. You ain't getting my $495. Today is tax day, okay? They already took enough from me from the government. You ain't getting my good, hard-earned YouTube money and TikTok money, right? TikTok, shout out to our TikTok fam. Keep tapping your screens, TikTok. And for those that are watching here on YouTube, be sure to like the video. That's an easy and free. You don't have to pay $495 to support me, okay? But thank you to those of you that sent in super chats. Let me say thank you. Apper Life says, Wendy W. had skills, and that's why she excelled. Jess H. did not, and that's why she easily got upstaged by Lauren. Will be enter to see how she does. I'll be interested in see how she does. Remember how Nene stand-up comedy did. Damn, Apro Life. I mean, you bring up valid points. Valid points. Esquihur, thank you so much for the super chat. Esquihur says, Portia is a journalist, remember? Yes. And look, she's done some work. She worked with This Nation for some time. She had to gain some skills. Thank you so much, Baloney Love, for letting us know that the new episode, the second episode after weeks of waiting of the Nene Leakes show will be out tomorrow. Thank you so much, Maloney. We appreciate that. Donna says, hi, Kempire. I agree that Cynthia didn't say anything wrong. My issue is that she seems to be on a full-on press tour about how disappointed she was with Kenya while saying Brit made a mistake. Here's the thing, y'all. She's on a show that's currently on. Bravo is pushing these women out every single week, if you've noticed, to promote the show because of the ratings. We have to remember, a lot of these questions are being asked of Cynthia. She's not the one bringing it up. And of course, this is going to be a question asked because that's one of the biggest storylines of the season. So in all fairness, Carlos asked her the question. When she did other interviews, people asked her the question. So I can't be mad at Cynthia for answering the question. Amelia, thank you so much for the super chat. Amelia says, on the first episode, Brit said that she can't wait for her husband to buy her dream home. Her house probably isn't hers. She doesn't have money like that. Well, I don't believe half the things that people say on reality television anymore. Because I just end up finding out stuff. Not everything that I find out, I tell you guys. But I end up finding out stuff about people, and I'm just like, damn, it's just smoke and mirrors with a lot of these people. I'm not saying I found anything out about Brit yet. But there are a lot of people on these reality shows, specifically Housewives, that are smoke and mirrors. Keith, thank you so much for the super chat. Keith says, if Housewives taught me anything, it taught me that people that work in insurance or telemarketing is a red flag. Right, Jen Shaw? But like Janelle's father, there are legitimate people working in insurance and have been for many, many years. All right. All right. Moving on. Let me just, not really moving on. Let's talk about what Brit Eady had to say on social media in regards to everyone reacting to what she said on the show. So Brit Eady, in response to fans, said this on social media. Shout out to our friends over at the Bravo Shade Room. Brit says, if you tuned into last night's episode of RHOA, I mentioned my license was under investigation, not lost. Mortgage loan officers are not versed on licensed insurance agents. It's a completely different field of work. When your job is a public trust, it's important to investigate claims of fraud. Hashtag class dismiss. Hashtag still got love for her though. Here's the thing though. Yes, what Angela Oakley does is a little bit different than what you do, but she wasn't wrong. She wasn't wrong that your license is not going to be immediately investigated because the media takeout reported these claims. Mind you, the only claim that we had from this rumor was the title, Insurance Fraud Ho. That's the only thing that came out. We didn't have any more specific details on what was on that poster board. So I still do not believe you, Brit Eady, that they were investigating your license. I don't believe, and if they were, if you can prove that there was an investigation, I don't believe it had anything to do with media takeout's report. Okay? I don't believe that. She continues. She says, hey, insurance agent here. I think it's important that what happens in our personal lives can affect what happens in our personal lives can affect our professional lives. I'm not a stranger to that. I've seen so many cases online where people have been fired from their jobs from behavior due to social media access or camera phones. She's not lying there. That definitely has happened. So our friends over at the Bravo Shade Room also had some fan reaction. So some fan reactions included, no, you lied for pity. Everybody with a license knew this was a damn lie. Another person says, Angela was right. The laws associated with the rights held over a license remain the same no matter the field. Everyone's entitled to due process. That's what she said. You were looking for pity. And in Angela Oakley's defense, I felt like Angela wasn't trying to throw you under the bus. She wasn't trying to discredit you. I think in that moment, I think she had good intentions. I think she was sort of like, wait, why would they do that? They shouldn't be able to do that. I don't feel like she was trying to discredit you. It was your reaction that made me think, oh, you're lying. Maybe. Exactly. Coco on TikTok says she was shocked. Yeah, because she was like, that doesn't make sense. And your reaction, your overreaction told me far more about you than anything else. So another person says, if that's true, then why didn't you correct Shamia when she said it? Well, that's the thing. All of a sudden, Shamia heard that you lost your license. And then after you blew up on Angela, that's when we find out finally, oh, no, you didn't lose your license. It's, quote, under investigation. Okay, girl. Look, we got a bunch of liars on this cast. We will also remind you, Brit Eady, I think I still have it in here. I do. Where Brit Eady went on social media after the Kenya of it all. Is this it? No, that wasn't it. I know I have it. Oh, here. Is it here? Where is it? The original. Oh, here it is. I think this is it. Yeah. Brit Eady denied threatening Kenya. So this was posted after the incident started making the blog rounds, after it literally happened. And Brit Eady said on her Instagram story that she ended up deleting. She had multiple Instagram stories. Go back and watch our videos covering this stuff. There are other screenshots from back then and audio. So she says, it's never a good feeling being targeted or, in caps, hazed by someone I thought would embrace me into a new circle that I never met. For the record, I've never once had possession of any weapons or threatened anyone ever. It's that last part, threatened anyone ever. And she's still doubling down that she never threatened Kenya on Watch What Happens Live. We heard you, Brit. Come on. We heard you threaten. We heard you. And if we heard you, I'm sure other people around there heard you. You said it multiple times. It's not like you said it once and under your breath. You were going off. You're like, you lucky these cameras, you F all these cameras. All right. She then says, I've never ever been to jail, in a fight, or even had as much as a speeding ticket. That's not in my character. I am hurt by the narrative that's being displayed. Wrong is wrong. I agree with you with that. The other lie that I find in this statement that you posted on your Instagram story back when this happened was the fact that you felt like you were being targeted or hazed. Again, at the time, we could have, pretended in our heads maybe that happened because we've seen past behavior from Kenya. But what we saw from episode 1 to episode 6, that wasn't it. It seemed like you got obsessed with the fact that Kenya brought up your missing wedding band, and you harped on that. Every scene that you had with other people, you kept on bringing it up. It was weird. I think if there was any sort of hazing or threatening or bullying, it was all in your head. And I really don't believe that they just conveniently edited out those moments that Kenya may have been hard on you or hazing you. And we would believe it. I think a lot of people did end up believing it when it was first reported. But based on what we've actually seen, that is not what happened at all. It's all in your head. The same way that you got angry at Angela. It's all in your head. Look. Okay. Thank you guys so much for all the likes. We're already at almost 900 likes, but we have almost 3,000 people watching on multiple platforms. No, we have over 3,000 people watching on multiple platforms. Thank you to everyone watching on TikTok, those of you watching on Twitch and Twitter, and those of you watching on Facebook, and of course, everyone watching on YouTube. I'm going to drop the call-in link for those that want to call in and share their thoughts. Members will get access first. Live chat, once we get to 900 likes, I will drop the call-in link for you guys as well. I want to hear your thoughts on what Janelle had to say yesterday in regards to this, what Giorgio Says had to say in regards to this. Nene Leakes has announced that she's going to do an interview with Latocha Scott. There's a lot going on in the Bravo universe right now. I don't know. It's actually, everything that's going on off the show is far more interesting than what's happening on the show. But we shall see. Everyone keeps saying it's going to pick up. It's going to pick up. We're on episode 6. But okay. I'm going to keep watching and I'm going to keep on recapping. Because y'all rely on me to give you the juice. And if it's good, I will tell you if it's good. But if it continues to be bad, I mean, it's still not as bad as Real Housewives of New York's last season. Maybe because they were pretending so much, and there are some real stories happening on Real Housewives of Atlanta, and that really is what separates them from Real Housewives of New York. There's some real stories happening. Kelly's storyline is happening. Angela and whatever's going on with Charles, whatever's going on over there, the Kenya and the Brit stuff. I mean, Brit's made some stuff up in her head, but you know, the beef between her and Kenya is real. So I think that's what's differentiating those two cities. Sidebar, where is Real Housewives of Miami? I just saw a video on TikTok with Alexia and her son, and I was just like, oh, I miss them. I don't love Alexia, despite being a Taurus, but I love her son. Not Peter. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay, so I dropped the call link for our members. We already have a few people calling in. Live chat, thank you so much for all the likes. I'm going to drop the call link for you guys as well. All right. And I will give you, I'll decide what I'll give you in a second. Anonymous T, thank you so much for the super chat. Anonymous T says, don't understand how Brit's threat is different from Kenya's threat to Phaedra. Once jokingly flashing a firearm on camera in season 6, no one said anything. Well, here's the difference. First of all, it wasn't literally to Phaedra. And I see a lot of people running with that narrative. Should she have said it? No. However, that happened how many years ago? What happened years ago, although relevant, we can't go all the way back to the past to change what happened in the past. Okay? But also, Kenya did not literally threaten Phaedra with the pow, pow, pow. We did see Brit threaten Kenya multiple times about whips and pistols and things like that. I don't know why people keep bringing up season 6 as if Kenya literally showed Phaedra her pow, pow, pow. Anonymous T is talking about that scene where Kenya is in the closet with her best friend, Brandon, and she's jokingly talking about that. And do I need to bring that? All right. Ali says it was not a direct threat. It's very different. I know people keep bringing it up. No one here, please, if you're new here, no one here is making excuses for Kenya, but we do believe that everyone bringing up season 6 and what happened there is a bit of a stretch. A bit. All right. Let me take a sip. All right. Let me get to the callers that are backstage, and then I'm going to wrap this up. Happy Tuesday, guys. We don't normally go live on Tuesdays, but there was a lot of Real Housewives of Atlanta stuff that I wanted to talk about. So here we are. If you're part of the replay crew, though, be sure to let us know your thoughts and opinions. I'm going to go into the callers and remind the callers the opinions of the callers do not represent the opinions of myself, TheKempire LLC, or our sponsors, like our sponsor today from our friends over at Rose Forever. Do you realize that Mother's Day is less than a month away? Have you even thought about what you're going to get your mother? Well, we are partnering yet again with our friends over at Rose Forever. Roses that will last you at least a year. I've partnered with them multiple times, and I have so many of their roses. I've even given them away as gifts. And the last time that we partnered with Rose Forever, it was during Valentine's Day. And look at these roses. And they still have their wonderful rosy scent. But shout out to our friends at Rose Forever. They don't just have roses anymore. They have candles. They have even things for the brides, because some of you are getting married this spring. Just saying. They also have hydrangeas. There's all kinds of new assortments. You can see behind me, I have some roses. If you were here in my apartment, if you are a friend of mine, I've gifted Rose Forever to you guys. And some of you have had your roses for more than a year. But Rose Forever promises that for at least a year, you will have high quality, wonderful smelling, beautiful roses in your home. And please understand, this is a flower arrangement that your mother will love. Your mother will always look down and say, oh, my child got that for me, or my coworker got that for me, or my favorite nephew got that from me, or my favorite niece got that from me, or my favorite goddaughter or godson.
Yup.
Roses work for anyone. I can't tell you how I feel walking into my home and I have a Rose Forever bouquet at my front door, or somewhere in my home, on my kitchen island, or here in the studio. Because the studio can be just a workspace, but as you can see, it can liven up any workspace, any room in your home, including your bathroom. So even if you're not looking for something for Mother's Day, or maybe you want to get a Mother's Day gift for yourself, of course, get Rose Forever. As always, more information on Rose Forever and our link will be available in the description. Thanks, Rose Forever. And we're back. Don't forget, guys, the discount code is Kempire20MD. Someone reported that it wasn't working. So literally, as that was playing, I sent an email just to make sure we resolve that if that is an issue for you. But the discount code for $20 off for Mother's Day for Rose Forever will be available in the description. Again, discount code Kempire20MD for Mother's Day will be available in the description. Shout out to those of you that support the channel any way that you can. And maybe you want to buy a little something for yourself. Maybe your children are rotten and they won't get you something for your Mother's Day. Well, there you go. All right. We have dropped the call-in link in the live chat, and we have our members backstage and some of our subscribers backstage as well. So we're going to get to these callers really quickly and wrap it up. All right. We have Dr. Payne backstage. I'm going to bring Dr. Payne up first. But Dr. Payne, before I bring you up, let me just pull up my disclaimer. Hold on. Let me put up the disclaimer. There we go. All right. Let me bring up Dr. Payne. Dr. Payne, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
I just absolutely love you. You know that. When I watch this show and hear the recaps, that Nene Leak soundbite with delusion, she is delusional, or that B is delusional, whatever. It is so funny to me. I wish she got paid on those things. I can't decide if I want to play Nene Leak's That's Delusional or Drew's new song, Delulu. Anyway, I'm enjoying the new people, Angela as well, and you as always. And that's it.
Thank you so much, Dr. Payne. Have a great day. I do like Drew's song, Delusional. And I was playing it earlier today. I was like, okay, I'm not singing because then you know. Hold on. Oh, wait a second. Ashley says, you know what, Kempire? I need you to I would need a minute. I want a minute on the soundboard. Look. All right. Bernice is backstage. We're going to bring Bernice up next. Bernice, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire. I'm home now, so I can talk without crazy noise in the background.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to say that I don't know how Bravo picks people, but we're already, I think you said, in episode 6. We still don't know really anything about Brit. Like, Angela has showed some type of work that she do. You know, she's showing the house or she's fixing up the house. Kelly has shown about her waffle or the restaurant or whatever. And she has showed us nothing. She just be talking about what either, you know, now the situation what Kenya did, or she was talking about her family, but she never talked about her work. So it's like when Angela asked her about the license thing, it kind of like triggered her.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe she is a fraud, or maybe she's lying about something, which is why she doesn't work for a company, but still has her license, but got some type of classes that nobody's probably going to pay for. So,
okay.
Interesting.
All right.
That's all.
Thanks, Bernice.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.
You too. Bye. All right. O'Shea's backstage. You're going to bring O'Shea up next. O'Shea, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
You know, I was so distracted during Cynthia's interview because the way Crystal kept whacking Carlos, it was the only thing I could pay attention to because it was so unexpected. Well, it was unexpected for me to see her confront him like that.
Yeah.
So that was really the only thing I could pay attention to throughout that that interview. And Brit just played herself. She really played herself in the last episode. She could have gotten the sympathy card very easily. I mean, deservedly so, but she just played herself by overreacting. And just being, and also just lying about something that didn't need to be lied about. Like no one asked you that question.
Yep.
You brought the conversation. And yeah, no, I think the thing you talked about Atlanta, there's too many people lying. Like 4 out of the 6 people are lying. and Phaedra hasn't come yet, and then it's going to be 5 out of the 7 people.
I forgot.
And then it's too much. At least on Potomac, it's just Mia that's lying. On other franchises, there's just the 1 or the 2. This, like for 4 out of 6, and then now going to be 5 out of 7. That's it.
Thanks, O'Shea. Bye. Yeah, I did see the preview for Carlos's interview with Crystal and Cynthia, because, they had their podcast. Cynthia had some beef with Carlos, and that's why she was like whacking him the entire interview. Carlos don't care. I don't know. Nothing that people say about Carlos really bothers him, and when it does bother him, you'll know. You will definitely know. All right. Let me bring up Toya next. Toya, what did you want to share in regards to all of this Real Housewives of Atlanta stuff that's spilling out?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I just wanted to say real quickly, I think that a lot of people aren't taking into effect that, like, I know they talk about Kenya in her closet talking about the pow pow, but that's not the same because she was in private. But these people had only met like 3 times. This is their 3rd meeting. They're having an argument. And then they were also in the hood. Having an argument in the hood, it changes things.
Does it?
It does, because you're like, I don't know this area. Is the hood over here? I don't know this girl. She be in hood and ghetto. Like, I'm scared. And Brit was definitely putting 20 on 10 about her license. I'm so glad Angela checked her. Curious to see how long they're going to keep talking about this. I hope that since, Phaedra's coming, I hope that she provides some laughs, but we'll see. That's it for me, Kempire. Have a good one.
You too, Toya. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Let me restart the time. We're going to bring up Elijah next. Elijah, what's going on? Elijah, you're muted. Elijah. That's unusual for Elijah. Elijah's usually ready to go. So it might be something going on. So we'll wait for Elijah. Janelle's backstage. We're going to bring Janelle up. Janelle.
Bonjour, Kempire.
Hey.
How are you?
Were you prepared to hear yourself during the...
Hello. Sorry, I am so loud when I get on here. I'm like, ha, bonjour. Okay, oh my God. I just got off the phone with my dad, and my dad said, don't you dare say names. He said, don't you dare say names. Okay? I was like, okay, yeah, this is on the internet forever, so I'm gonna be careful. Anyway, Lord Jesus, Brit Eady charging $495 for an insurance class. She better stop. Because in the state of Florida, you have to, I asked my dad because I want to make sure. He was like, things have changed in the last 35, 40 years. So I said, okay, that's fair. He said that when he was becoming an agent, is that he had to apply. He did have to pay for the license classes himself, like through the state. That's Florida. I don't know how it is in Georgia. But in Florida, he did have to pay for the license courses to get his license through the state. State Farm did have a program where he said they just threw me to the wolves. And I just had to, he did have a mentor that really helped him and guide him through the business. And so I guess now in most major insurance companies, what they'll do is that for half a year, you're going to shadow a veteran agent to learn the ins and outs of the business. And if I'm correct, it's at no cost to you to mentor this agent. And so basically, but here's the thing, you have to build up your own clientele. You have to go through your own circles. And the most amount of money you're going to be paying for are for courses. That's where most of your money is going to go from before you get to like marketing costs and advertising and trying to like get yourself out there. And then also once you become, and also you have to apply to become an agent. There's so many things. If you take that course, you are, in my opinion, I think you're about to be scammed. That is Janelle saying.
Janelle, did you ask your father about the course, or maybe you need to just send it to him and have him take a look at it? I mean, it doesn't give you a lot of information from your website.
I told him about the course.
Okay, and what did he say?
He just said,
We know a black man's
He went, Because the thing is that these companies, because she said she was with Allstate. Now, I don't know. I've never worked in the Allstate office before. I am not familiar with that. But from what he told me, it's like
these companies all kind of like run the same because they don't want to get in trouble with the state.
Yeah.
Like, there's usually in most state governments, there's a whole department. Like it's ran by an elected official. They're called the state insurance commissioner that has to oversee what goes in and out when it comes to insurance dealings. And also she's talking about like, oh, get rich. A lot of people go into insurance because it does provide you a more it gives you like chance to be an entrepreneur. It allows you to make your own hours. But I've heard from my parents because they had I was born, I would say like within like the first 2 years of my dad doing it, but they already had my older brother. My dad said like the way like him and my mom were like, knocking on doors, talking to people. It's such a hard business to break into. Yeah. And now in 2025, there are more insurance agents than ever at a time where a lot of insurance companies are either pulling out of certain states because of natural disasters, or they're not offering like certain things that they used to. It's just like, it's a difficult business. So the fact that she's making all these promises is sus to me personally. And so,
and for those that are just joining us, you also worked with your father for a period of time too.
Yeah, I worked with him. I worked with him during summers when I was during high school, when I was off from school. And then I also, a year after college, after I graduated, I moved back home because, New York expensive. And I worked in his office as a receptionist. So I couldn't personally talk to people about policies and stuff because you have to have a license to do that. So,
but you learn a lot from being around it.
But I was around it. I overheard conversations and I'm like, you're dealing with people's money. They're hard-earned cash. So it's just like, you can't, like, the reason why I understand what Keith, one of the people in the audience was saying, like, there are people who, I think there's corrupt people in every industry. I understand his stance on that, but I could just say from like my dad and from a lot of his like State Farm agent friends, like and because of the standards that State Farm has set up, like they really uphold themselves to be the most accountable and credible people possible because they are dealing with people who have worked hard for that coin and who are putting towards on, like, you don't know something's going to happen to your house. You don't know something's going to happen to your car. Like the amount of times I overheard people, like they were just driving to work and someone like sideswiped them. And now they have to call the insurance company because they need to see if they have enough money on their policy to get a rental car while their main car is being fixed. Like you have like, there is like Brit gives me weird vibes. Like if I was out here shopping for insurance, I wouldn't be going through her because I'm wondering, like, when the time comes and a hurricane hits my house, is the money going to be there for my house to be repaired?
Yeah.
That is my question. Or God forbid something happens to me and someone needs to cash in that life insurance policy. Is she going to be the person that's like, oh, yeah, I'm going to get you that money so you can pay for the funeral costs and whatnot? Like, that's what it's like. And so there's a mentorship program, there's training. And also, if you become an insurance agent, depending on what company you're with, you can't always be in the same region or area as other like established agents. It happens rarely because they don't want that type of competition.
Yeah.
So I remember agents will like have to call you like, hey, I'm moving my office to this place, and it kind of like crosses into your territory. Is that going to be okay? Because they want to respect each other. And like, I'm not trying to compete with you because you have your customers, I have my customers, and we're essentially offering the same product. It's just a different person offering the same product. Like there's so many ins and outs to this business. Don't go pay $495 when everything can be done through the state. Everything can be done through the major insurance business. And then I'm not going to say names, but my dad told me a story about a specific spokesperson that is no longer a spokesperson for State Farm. And this person had some wild views, and they quietly sunsetted this person's ads.
It's not the latest person, right?
No.
Oh. He was at BravoCon. He's so cute in person. Anyway.
State Farm had a convention a few years ago, and I got a chance to go. It was in Vegas, and it was so much fun. He was there. He is cute.
He's adorable in person.
He is so cute. Oh, no, honey. They did a background check, credit check, all the checks. They did all the checks with him because once they saw that they had their own version of Flo, the Progressive Girl, they were like, honey, we're not letting you go. And I would not be surprised. I don't know this for a fact, but I would not be surprised. Remember, what's the guy? Are you there? Can you hear me now?
Oh, from Verizon?
The Verizon guy. I wouldn't be surprised if Jake from State Farm signed a similar deal that the Verizon guy signed back in the day. I wouldn't be surprised because he's everywhere. I mean, I just saw him in a commercial watching another YouTube video where it was like a Batman spoof situation. So, but I will say there's a spokesperson who's very well known, and his ads were sunset because he started saying some wild stuff.
Oh, okay. All right. We got to go. We got a long line. But
yes, we got to go.
We appreciate you calling in and giving us your perspective.
Yes, thank you for giving me the time to do so. Sorry, y'all. This is not the typical. I usually try to get in and get out, and I try to respect.
That's what he said. Goodbye. All right, all of y'all not gonna get that amount of time. You have 1 minute to share your thought. Okay, Blanche Devereux is backstage. Neverho, what's up? Blanche, what's going on? Blanche, you're muted. All right, I know I was supposed to bring up Elijah. Where did Elijah go? Oh, there he goes. Elijah.
Hey, Kempire.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. I'm sorry that I'm moving, so the guy that was fixing my things over here, he was coming, so I had to drop out real quick. I'm sorry.
Oh, it's okay. It's all right. So what's going on?
So I wanted to say, right, I feel like with this whole situation with Brittany and Angela, you've seen the moment that Angela said what she said, she didn't even ask aggressively. She asked with no intentions, and she got so hot. So in my opinion, she really showed her slip. And the fact that when she said, oh, but you guys are here for me, this is about me, it showed her intention because she wants all the attention and she thought coming on here that Brit Eady was going to be the star, and she's not. And so I think that, that's upsetting and that's frustrating her. So I think that's why she got upset, and I think her slip showed. And I think there's some funny stuff going on with her license, and she's not being real about it. And I think that the same way Kenya found or did what she did, the Bravoverse will find out whatever it is that she's hiding. It's going to be out there. You know what I'm saying? Because when you become a public figure, those types of things come out. Yeah. So in my opinion, I think that she's really lying. You know what I'm saying? And I hope that she doesn't come back next season. I truly don't. I think that we have hope going forward with Angela and Kelly, but her, I really have no clue why she's even there. So, yeah.
All right. Thank you so much for calling in, Elijah. Have a great day. All right. Let me bring up Blanche again. Blanche, are you there?
I am.
Oh, hello?
Hello?
There you go. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
It's okay.
Hello. First of all, I immediately clocked that Brit is an extreme attention seeker. And because of that, she's a liar. They tend to be. And I did that because I'm a teacher. Oh. And those can be signs of a child of abuse and neglect. They often make up stories and all of that. Now, it can also be a sign, the flip side, of someone with like a personality disorder. And people like her, they immediately become incensed at any question of what they're trying to present. Even when the question is very innocent, like what Kenya asked her, and Angela as well. They asked very legitimate questions. There was no shade behind it, but she immediately saw that as an attack. And she's probably been doing that for a long time. Because listen to what she said about her mom. She said, oh, people have always been hating on me. Been doing that for a while. And I won't be surprised if she turns on Angela the way that she turned on Kenya and thinks that Angela is just out to get her. Every action from Angela is now going to be seen as an attack on her.
Thank you for that perspective, Blanche.
No problem. Thank you. And I love your show.
Thank you. We were talking a little bit about that yesterday. Like, we don't want to diagnose people. However, I mean, there are certain things that we're seeing that I'm like, well, that could be, and which is also, I think, a reason for us to give a little grace to Brit, that this might be something else going on with her. All right, let's bring up Tyler next. Tyler, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
I will say this about Brit. Is she a Libra?
I think she is.
She gives Libra energy. Libras are cool and balanced, but they do have this complex where they think people are always hating on them or attacking them. She gives Libra energy. I can see that. And I just wanted to add, Angela responded to her. Angela responded to her via an Instagram story. What Angela said was, state licensure in Georgia requires a just cause for investigation, meaning the licensing board must have a valid reason, such as violation of laws or rules, to initiate a probe into a licensee's conduct. I hold 2 professional licenses. My question still stands. What is the cause? No shade. So
Thank you for that.
Angela already gathered her. Something is seriously wrong with Brit. I think Bravo got it wrong with the casting. I'm sorry, just being for real. Brit is not a good fit. I think that slot could have been given to another. That slot could have been given to another OG. That's all.
Thank you so much for that. We're gonna pull what Tyler said. Thanks, Tyler. Yeah, so she did respond on social media. We had breaking news. Breaking news. Let me just show this to you, even though Tyler just read it for us. So this is what Angela Oakley posted on social media. She said, FYI, this is a case for any state licensed real estate mortgage insurance. # no shade. She says state licensure in Georgia requires a just cause for investigation, meaning the licensing board must have a valid reason, such as violation of laws or rules, to initiate a probe investigation into a licensee's conduct. I hold 2 professional licenses. My question still stands. What is the cause? Okay, come on. Angela, even though I think Angela is a bit of a flip-flopper and a little bit of a troublemaker behind the scenes and a little two-faced. But clock it. And she talked about how she was a millionaire before she met Charles Oakley. My Taurus she's giving candy vibes. All right, we see you, Angela. We see you. All right, let's bring up next. Hold on. Oh, wait, we just spoke to Tyler. All right, we're going to bring up Duchess next. Duchess, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
I'm going to make this very quick.
Okay.
So usually I go into a newbie season of Housewives completely neutral. I don't stand, but I don't hate.
Mm-hmm.
Brit has not given anything for us to root for just yet. I don't even think the flowers were authentic. I thought Kelly going to get the card for Kenya was more authentic than Brit bringing the flowers.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's only 6 episodes, but where else is Brit going to go from here? You know, Angela shows a lot of promise. Shamia shows promise. Kelly shows promise. I actually want to get Kelly's cookbook. I don't know if I'm going to get it, though. But Brit,
let us know if you do.
Nothing yet. And then in terms of Nene and her interview, unless she asked Latocha, if she paid Tamika back, I don't want it. She can keep it. But that's all I got.
I know that's right, Duchess. I agree. She better ask that question.
Exactly. But I'm going to go. Let other people talk. Another line is long.
Thanks, Duchess. Yeah. You too. Bye. See, our community are level-headed. Okay. All right. Let's bring up Tish next. Tish, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
Everything Angela said, true. I'm in a whole different state with a license as well, not even in the same field, similar verbiage. I think sis is just being a victim. Also, I missed a couple of your podcasts. Just bear with me here if I'm reiterating stuff that was already said. But I do think from watching this season that Brit and Kelly picked a Titan. Kelly picked Portia. Brit picked Cass. And then they just needed a way to stir up drama to make sure that they stayed on the show. That is just my opinion.
Okay.
Also, Brit Eady has on her YouTube channel an interview she did with someone. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but I watched that interview. And in that interview, she said a few things. One of the things she said was that she's not very good in girl groups. She doesn't keep girlfriends. She said that. She also says that she takes her pow-pow with her every single where she goes, and she does not leave it behind. She said that in that interview, and it's still up on YouTube right now. She also said that she paid $150K for a franchise agency. So I'm so confused by all this conflicting information and why she would put that video up there, because it has all her lies in it.
Tish, but Andy said they completed an investigation and they found out that she didn't break any of the policy.
That makes no sense. I saw it.
Thanks, Tish. Take care. Bye. She takes her pow, pow, pow everywhere she goes. So that was a very viable threat. All right. All right, let me get to these rest of these calls so I can wrap this up because it's almost 6 o'clock. All right. Dinner time? No, meditation time. Okay, I'm going to bring up Taurus Sun next. Taurus Sun, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire. It is almost Taurus season. Yay!
Yes, because it doesn't feel like Aries season has been so long?
It has. It is time for Taurus season. It certainly is. I cannot wait.
Me too.
I just want to say that if y'all look at what's coming up, everybody that came before me, they hit everything spot on. I think the problem, like someone said, and I don't know if Kenya said it, but I don't think Bravo is vetting very well. This woman is a fan. You can tell she's a fan by her actions. And even next week when she goes off on Angela again about a hug. What is it about a hug, ma'am? Did your mom not hug you when you were younger? What is it about a hug? Kenya didn't hug you right. That's a problem, y'all. I need Bravo and Andy and the rest of them. I like Angela. I like Kelly, but Brit Eady does not need to come back. And that's all I have to say. Love you, Kempire. Please get some dinner because, yes, it's Taurus. We need to eat. I'm about to fix me some dinner as well.
Okay.
And everybody have a good evening.
Anything
okay?
good?
Bye-bye.
Look, wait. Anything good?
Huh?
Anything good?
I'm going to have some baked chicken, yellow rice, and some cabbage.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh. All right. We're going to bring up Sharon next. Sharon, Miss Sharon, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire, how you doing?
Oh, well, how are you?
I'm doing fine. My thing on Brit Eady, and I hope that the network, Bravo, has realized to think to get rid of her, and I don't bring her back for next season because she's not a good fit. She's worse than Kenya. I think she went after Kenya because she seen Kenya as maybe the big dog, and she wanted to try to go after Kenya to get her position on the show, but basically didn't work, and it didn't work with fans. And I'm not a fan of Kenya, but I mean, that was wrong what she did because Kenya didn't say anything wrong about the ring. I didn't see anything wrong. Kenya was just asking questions. And so that was my problem with that. And Bravo needs to hire new HR people because their HR people aren't very good. I seen that the last time when they had that investigation with Ramona.
Oh.
So it's something wrong with their HR department.
You got valid points because they did that investigation on Ramona and they said they didn't find anything. I was like, oh, okay.
Right. Okay, Kempire, talk to you later.
Thanks, Miss Sharon. All right, Miss Esquire is backstage. We're going to bring her up next. Miss Esquire, what did you want to share?
Hello. Okay, I have to go really fast because I have to hop on a call.
Oh.
So I've been listening to y'all while I was on another call. The things we do for you, Kempire.
Thank you.
But what I will say is a couple of things that people are not considering. Of course, Bravo would not find any issues with Britney's behavior because she was a potential liability for them. She could have absolutely sued the network for placing her in that circumstance. They are the ones who actually published or facilitated the publishing of the revenge porn. And so I think what Bravo needs to do when there's these sort of intra-talent conflicts, they need to bring in a third party because they're really not able to police themselves and they're applying their policies only to their own benefit. And that's very clear. With Britney, I just don't understand. I don't think she's lying, actually. And that this is a different theory. You tell me somebody else has said this, but I think somebody did call in a complaint to the Georgia Insurance Board on her. I just don't think it's because of what she experienced. I think it might be because if I know Kenya, and she's as petty as she is, you think I put it beyond her to put in an anonymous call to the Georgia Board of Insurance?
Or Team Twirl?
Listen, I don't put it past them. And it could be for her allegedly, threatening this woman with weapons. So I believe there is an investigation going on. And I believe the reason why she didn't want to say what it is about is because it ain't about what Kenya did to her. It's about what she said on camera to Kenya.
Okay.
But that's just me, making up lies and fairy tales and fallacies. Okay. I gotta go.
Thanks, Miss Esquire. But Miss Esquire doesn't make up lies or fairy tales or fallacies if you're new here. All right. Keith is backstage. Keith, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
So first of all, well, I'm not surprised that this information came out. I remember yesterday I was just saying how she's a fraud, okay? Turning $200 to $2,000 overnight, trying to finesse people out of their money. So I'm not surprised that all this information came out. But honestly, I felt like with Brit, I have never been able to read someone so well, so quickly. Like, it's clear that she has peak delusions of grandeur. She's a pathological liar and she has codependency issues. I don't know what it is about this hug situation, but she clearly has some issues in her family and also, isn't she the middle child? Because I think that may have had a a reason as to why she is looking for attention and why she probably had these issues with her siblings. Because I do know that middle children do typically have the hardest relationship with their families because they always feel left out. So I think that may also be a reason. Now, I'm not giving her an excuse because we all have issues. We all have to go to therapy. So I don't think that is an excuse for her behavior.
No.
But I definitely think there's a lot of things she was raised with that may have exhibited to this current behavior.
I like how we're all analyzing psychologically what could be. That is a credit to our audience, because there are other folks probably on these YouTube streets that like just wild with their theories on Brit Eady, but we are all really just looking at the history of past trauma, middle child syndrome. We are really breaking it down. I appreciate it. Thanks, Keith. All right, Zoe's backstage. Going to bring Zoe up next. Zoe, what did you want to share?
Hi, Kempire.
Hey.
I just finished watching the Carlos interview with Crystal and Cynthia. And I also spent the weekend watching Bethany interview with the previous producer.
Yeah.
And I'm under the impression that Bravo cannot recreate the magic of what the Real Housewives has been. So getting polarizing characters on the show to get us talking and analyzing their personalities the way that we are right now is their only way they can keep things going, because they just have no other way to get the ratings of people talking about them. Yes, the ratings are going low, but they're still trending on social media and YouTube because we are talking about how disgusting it is. We are talking about it. It's part of the negative marketing strategy where race baiting, controversy, racial issues, and all of these things become part of marketing because they have nothing else to offer. The people that they want, they cannot get anymore. Nobody will ever be a Nene. Nobody will ever be whatever. Those people don't want to be part of this platform anymore. So what do we have to do? Get the polarizing people to come on, keep the conversation going. And the more we talk about them, the good they feel about themselves. I wish we could just stop talking about it, but we can't. And they know that, so they got us on a chokehold. That's my opinion.
Thank you so much, Zoe. I like that. Thank you. I love it. This is why I love taking the calls, because we end up getting all these very profound, well thought out, different possible opinions. None of us are saying that any of these things are facts, but I will say Zoe does have a point. If we don't want to watch any of these things anymore, we need to stop watching and stop talking about it. This is why I love when we did the White Lotus recaps. We were, for those that are new here and you want to see my White Lotus recaps, you can see that here on our YouTube channel, and you can, as members, so you have to be a member in order to see it. But it's a really great just break. You can see when you see me recapping and talking about that, it's so great to talk about something that's not real and looking at the artistry of what the story is being told. So for me, doing, especially now with And Just Like That coming back, a little break from reality is definitely wanted and needed during these times. All right. Amara says, while Kempire, we have a psychology, we have psychology degrees. We just like, oh, okay. Yeah, we do. We are educated bunch, or just very empathic bunch as well. Okay. All right. Noda Queen is backstage. Noda Queen, what did you want to share?
Hey, Kempire.
Hey.
I don't know when they're filming their reunion, but by the end of filming that day, I need her pink slip signed, sealed, and delivered. Talking about Brit Eady. I'm done. She's a chop. She can go. And like, what people don't understand when they try to bring up Kenya and Phaedra is that Kenya was in her home running her mouth, as we all do all the time. We say foolishness in the comfort of our home. Yeah, she's being recorded, but still. What Brit is different is, number one, she's calling her husband to her for this fight between her and another woman, which is ridiculous. Why is he even there? And then you talking about you got whips and chains after you call your husband? Like, that's foolishness. That's completely different. And regardless, it doesn't make her any less wrong. Just like Brit threatening Kenya doesn't make Kenya any less wrong for what she did to follow up. Wrong is wrong, period. It doesn't matter all the other things. But yeah, Brit can go. I'm tired of her, but you enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you so much, Noda Queen. Take care. All right. Angel, I was thinking, for those that were having audio issues, I don't know, it's been a new thing for YouTube. What we found is to swipe out of the app and then come back in. And that seems to work for a lot of people. Let me see. Angel says, when are we doing another dating live? I need an update on Zoe and the IT guy. If you missed it, our last one was like 2 weeks ago that we did, or no, maybe like a week ago. Oh no, it was 2 weeks ago that we did a dating live. And Zoe, as Zoe was speaking, I had my thoughts. I was like, I wonder But I didn't want to extend because, All right, let me get to these last couple of callers. We have Kim backstage. We're going to bring Kim up next. Kim, what did you want to share?
Hi, I just wanted to say, I think if I was starting a role on Real Housewives of Atlanta, I would be stressed out because Kenya can haze anybody. So I could even imagine that Brit was probably trigger happy. She came on like literally, but like she came on like just knowing that Kenya was going to come for her. I feel like everything that happened, she was just like thinking, oh, this is it. This is what I was afraid of, And then it's interesting to me because I know that Kenya wanted Ming on the show.
Yep.
And I'm sure there were some subtleties behind the scene that made her feel like you were going to be edged out by your competition. So I can imagine that she was just like really heightened and just like overshot the whole situation and couldn't pull herself back in. That's all I want to say. I'm not really a fan of either one of them, but I just kind of can see the human nature behind it.
I like that. Thank you so much for that, Kim. All right. I thought, you guys are hitting it today with the perspective. So thank you so much. All right. Last but definitely not least, we're going to bring up Judgy Justice next. Judgy Justice, what did you want to share in regards to this Real Housewives of Atlanta tea?
Hey, so I'm actually just in time for my last trade. I wanted to share, have you seen that podcast video of Brittany getting interviewed and her stating that she always keeps that pew-pew at her on her hip?
Yep, we talked about that. Wanted to call it just...
So I missed that part.
That's okay.
Well, I just feel like overall, I feel like Brittany keep digging herself further and further into this hole. It's harder for people to even like you now because you've lied, you've told different stories, you even tried to get the cast around you to even think that you lost your license within less than 48 hours. I just feel like it's not giving what it needs to give. I feel like she had a great opportunity to really become like the voice of this newer generation. But she got caught up in this foolishness, and sometimes those doors are closed. Thank you so much, Kempire. Bye.
Thank you so much, Judgy Justice. Take care. Well, look, final thoughts. Let me just say thank you. We had a couple of super chats. Know the Queen, thank you so much for the super chat. Know the Queen says, Kenya, quote, threatening Phaedra doesn't make Kermit any less wrong for threatening Kenya. That's why no one's talking about it. It's irrelevant. Ashley, thank you so much for the super chat. Ashley says Brit is very sensitive and defensive, which attracted all this drama and negativity to her. She must be a Taurus. She's not a Taurus, Ashley. You know what, Ashley? I'm going to ban you. No, I'm playing Ashley. She must be That is not true. That is not... Tauruses do not like drama or negativity. Ashley. Get her, y'all. All the Tauruses get Ashley. All right. Thank you so much, guys, for the super chats, the Venmos, the Cash Apps, the PayPals, the super thanks. We appreciate that. For those that are watching the replay, be sure to share your thoughts on everything that we've covered. We covered quite a few different topics related to the Real Housewives of Atlanta and a couple of things not related. And just like that, it's coming back in May. We talked about a little bit about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills that's happening. Don't forget, we will be recapping Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tomorrow at 12:30 p.m. Eastern, 9:30 a.m. PST. Thanks to everyone watching on TikTok. TikTok keeps tapping your screens. We should have had 100,000 likes by now. And shout out to those of you watching on Twitch and Twitter. Don't forget to follow me on those platforms. More information on our sponsor for today, Rose Forever, will be available in the description. Go get your discount code. Mother's Day is right around the corner, along with everything else that we have, including my skincare sponsor. It's available in the description as well. Thank you to our King's Guards. Thank you to our channel members. Thank you to our subscribers. And thank you to those that are watching in the bushes. We appreciate you watching regardless. All right, y'all. See you all in the next one. Bye, y'all. Thanks for tuning in to Kempire here on the Kempire Radio Podcast. As always, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. And for everything Kempire Radio, head on over to KempireRadio.com.